Okay, great. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 5. 5 golden episodes. I'm so proud of myself. I think people are starting to recognize me around here, too. I'm kind of becoming a regular of sorts. But let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be giving you a lesson on media literacy. Because some of y'all are illiterate when it comes to media. And we'll do a real-time unpacking of the current cultural zeitgeist, if you will. But first, we got to talk about Wicked. We got to talk about Wicked.
Haven't you heard on the internet, girl?
Because I knew you, I have been changed for good. That is a Christian hymn. That is what they teach them to sing in conversion therapy, because for good in this scenario, in case you guys didn't gather, is Christianity. But we're going to get into that in a second, okay? Media literacy. But I gotta say, the movie was excellent. It rocked me to my core. And I need to start off by saying I'm not one of those wicked gays. I did see the play at the Pantages. I saw the touring group cast at the Pantages. Fantastic. Love the original soundtrack or whatever you call it. I love Adina and Chenoweth. Adele Dazeem, famously. But yeah, the first, I always want to call it episode 1. The first part 1 did not move me. The girl next to me actually at the theater was like hysterically crying. And, you know, I felt like I was watching the movie wrong. She was feeling so moved by it. I was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong here. So, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? But yeah, I feel like I was watching it wrong. I was like, is she watching the same movie I'm watching? Then I found out, I didn't realize it in the moment, but I fell asleep through half of it. I made it to like through The Wizard and I, and then fell asleep to like I woke up to screaming monkeys with wings. So yeah, it felt really overhyped. Felt like it kind of got the Barbie / what's the other movie? Did I write it down? Wonka, the Willy Wonka, the just like bright, the like how Timothée Chalamet's Wonka was. Felt very CGI, felt very just, I didn't feel connected to it. It was so bright. It was just like, yeah, if you saw the Barbie movie, it just, you know what I'm talking about. That type of like very, like movies are starting to feel more like video games, which probably could be its own episode. But like when you think about like Marvel and all this stuff, like, and it's true, like movies are supposed to feel fantastical, and so when technology evolves, yada, 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 yada. All I'm saying is I was not moved by Wicked Part 1. Wicked for good, I sobbed like a baby. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I'm feeling quite elfy these days, which is actually... I'm going to talk more about that, not about Wicked, but about just the elfie phenomena next episode and how it relates to me. But just feeling very other these days, feeling very misunderstood, feeling very green. I'm in the Green Podcast studio today. I didn't reserve this. I always try to get the one next door because I don't utilize the green screen and I can't take it down. So, but I have been feeling quite green as of late. And I don't know if it was the timing of everything, because I do feel like and as we'll get into the episode about media literacy, I think the themes of Wicked for Good are quite similar to what we're going through today. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. So I don't know if it was just like really ringing true to me, or maybe it was the fact that I had 2 espresso martinis at 11 a.m. on an empty stomach before going in. That could be it too. And I'm pretty sure they're vodka espresso martinis now that I think about it. I normally order mine with tequila. I don't think I specified that day. So yeah, two vodka martinis on an empty stomach versus and going into it maybe a little bit like more emotionally raw than I was the prior release. Because yeah, when we saw Wicked Part 1, like a 10 a.m. Thanksgiving and like after a wake and bake situation. So, you know, we're a product of our surroundings. Okay? So I'm not here to say that Wicked was the best movie ever, but I am saying that it rocked me to my core. And I've never had that kind of an emotional experience in a movie theater. I was the girl in Wicked for one, because shame on me and my horrible memory, but like I honestly didn't even I've seen the play. I know the story, but I don't. Like I was going into Wicked for Good like, ooh, what's going to happen? I have no idea what's going to happen. Like probably because I just like the songs from Part 1 better. So like I'm more quick to recall that versus actually when I saw the play. But yeah, I don't remember anything. So I was going into it quite excited to see what was going to happen. And yeah, I just... Did you hear that? That was a real slap. Yeah. And I took a Lexapro too. I was like ready to go. I was like, I don't really want to cry. I am emotionally raw right now. So I kind of put up some defenders. I put up some beta blockers. I know Lexapro is not a beta blocker. It's an SSRI. But all to say, Miss Lexi keeps me pretty locked in. Don't shed too many tears these days. So the fact that I was blubbering like a baby, like a basic white bitch from No Place Like Home till, what is it? No Good Deed. The Fire. It was like a Lord of the Rings movie at one point, you guys. Like it was crazy. Like even if you don't care about Wicked and you've never seen the play and you don't know anything about it, go see Wicked for Good. You could skip Part 1. Just listen to the soundtrack. Part 2 was I enjoyed it. And I feel so bad for the folks over at Wicked. So sorry to that man, the director, because you're not getting the Oscar. It's going to K-pop Demon Hunters. What horrible, unfortunate timing that is. Because, woof, woof, woof. You thought you had that in the bag. And my girls Huntrix took over. I never thought that I would think of as like Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo as the underdogs come awards season, but I really don't think they have a shot in hell over K-pop Demon Hunters. But that's enough about Wicked. Like I said, it's just a movie. It's a blockbuster. It was fun. And yeah, clearly I needed to cry that much because, oh my God. It was getting embarrassing. Like at one point I was like almost like wailing, sobbing. So I had to get it together. Yeah, maybe it was the vodka now that I think about it more. It's probably the vodka. But anyhow, let's get into the bulk of the episode, which is media literacy and what is going on TV, in the movies. I mentioned Wicked for Good should be just retitled Wicked Christianity. White privilege, if you will, because I do want to just talk about the subtext of the movie for a little bit, not so much about the actual movie, but like things that were really touching home for me were the animals in Oz. If you don't know, can speak to humans. Animals can speak English, and the animals were being caged. and they were losing their abilities to speak English. If you don't use it, you lose it type situation. And so, yeah. Putting others in cages, in detention centers, in ICE detention centers, taking their voice, literally taking away their rights. Munchkins not allowed to go back to Munchkin land to see their families. Sounds like immigrants who are too scared to return home because they made it across the border once. How are they going to make it across a second time? SpongeBob, I don't know his name, but the home wrecking whore, SpongeBob, his character, his name's not SpongeBob. I think he played Broadway SpongeBob. The homewrecker, the one that's with Ariana now. Bach, he wanted to go home to his family and he couldn't return to Munchkin Land. But he obviously had to come in to Oz, to the Emerald City to work. And now he's trapped there to work there forever and can't return to his family. Sounds a lot like the American dream, if you ask me. And the people in charge, obviously, this is kind of like low-hanging fruit, but like the people in charge not having any powers. The Oz, the wizard, no powers, zilch. The emperor wears no clothing. We know this story. And yeah, and then having Glinda, the blonde, beautiful. Glinda is giving Sydney Sweeney. You guys, do we not see the similarities? And for good, just being generalized for goodness in the name of goodness is the same thing that the right is preaching and coming after any naysayer or anyone with something against what they have to say. And quickly want to jump to the Bible about, man and a woman this and no trans that and yada, yada, yada. It's all in the name of goodness. But you're actually discriminating green people, the others. And so also it kind of makes me think, sorry to stick on the wicked of it all, but like their appearance has been a big topic of conversation. How the women look after filming these two movies and how they started and how they ended. And they do look quite thin. Lots of features protruding that weren't protruding before. We're talking clavicles, we're talking cheekbones, we're talking things. But that's their own journey. I'm not judging. However, I do want to call out how mentally and physically taxing it must be to go and answer these questions and just act like this is only happening in Oz and not being able to bring it back to the full conversation in fear of not winning that Oscar, in fear of not getting, the whole press circuit is to promote the movie. And if you're actually saying like, oh, actually, it felt so great to work on this movie and, kind of call an old story, a very old, not the opposite of modern story, and look at it with the modern lens and be able to kind of look at yada, 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 what I just said, right? But that's not being said. Instead, we're holding fingers, we're holding space, and we're making it all for good. Life imitates art, imitates life, imitates art. So yeah, we're bullying Christians today. We're bullying mainstream media today, while also the general public, because I feel like I shouldn't have to come here and explain this to you. And maybe this is so far like very black and white and very like obvious. Yes, Zach, the sky is blue kind of vibe. The grass is green. We know all of this. So I'm going to stop kicking this horse and we're going to move on to a different horse. We're done with Wicked for now. For good. And don't call me a misogynist for a second. I'm not picking on these women. I'm sure Cynthia Erivo wants to have these conversations, but she's contractually obligated by the studios to try to win them that pretty statue, so she actually can't talk about those things. But she would. I'm not mad at Cynthia. I'm not mad at Ariana. Look. You physically can see they look significantly different, better or worse, I'm not going to say, but they definitely look significantly different. after filming this movie, look at like presidencies. Like, look at Obama before and after he served, or I mean, Biden was practically pickled, crypt keeper. But like, I think George W. Bush also had a pretty dramatic before and after. If you look at his serving time, it's got to take a toll on them. So I'm not going to bully them for their looks. I'm bullying the mean studios who don't let them speak. Let her speak. And just how fucked up it is to make a movie like this and then the entire press circuit have no conversation about the animals, the losing the voices. Like, all of us humans today, I think it is very common on all social media and human interactions that we hate humans, we don't want to leave our house, and we all wish that we were animals, or we just love animals. And, you know, if I could just be with my dog or my cat or whatever it is, we all are sick of humans. Humans suck. Look what the humans are doing to the animals in this movie. And it's coming from the power, political, you know, you can't, it's not a political movie, but the people in charge, the politicians of Oz, are making all of these rules and banning animals and banning, you know, drag storytelling. You know, it's all the same. And it's intentional to make you think and reflect. And you get to see this fantasy story play out of like worst case scenario and like what happens to people who get shunned and all of this stuff. We gotta connect the dots. We're almost there. This movie is doing great. It's filling theaters. Let's just bring it around. So it's not about women. That's where that tangent went from. This is not about women, okay? This is a human rights situation. I am a feminist. But just because you're a feminist doesn't mean you can't be critical of women, okay? I'm looking at you, trad wives. I'm looking at you, Mormon wives. Okay? I am someone who has always, always, always championed the art of homemaking and domestication. But I don't understand why this is what is becoming trendy. Like, why are we also romanticizing the old school way of thinking, too, when we look at trad wives? Should we take away your guys' credit cards, too? Your driver's license? Your ability to vote? Why not? Because you could then have all the time in the world you need to make that apple pie from scratch. Or what's her name? Nara Smith. She's a caricature, you guys. Our goal should not to be to make gum from scratch for our husband. Or the example I think I wrote down was her daughter doesn't like cake, so while she was opening her birthday present, she made her a pavlova for her birthday. Like, this is where media literacy comes into play. Like, we cannot... Making a pavlova for your daughter is a wonderful thing and a wonderful idea. And I think that is what is not being celebrated here. Instead, what is happening, because we're seeing it play out in the real world as they continue to try to take women's rights away and trans rights away, is this is what a woman should be and should do, sacrificing their needs for the family, for the man. No one's actually like watching her videos, taking notes on recipes and like how to make things. We're being sold this lifestyle, this way of thinking of we are desensitizing women. That's been the biggest issue with Trump's policy run is the way he treats women. Like, if we can start to influence women to stay in the kitchen, then maybe we will have less women running for office, is what it's giving to me. That's the only thing being influenced here. when, again, I'm not mad at Laura. This is satire. This is something that was funny that she did once. She made probably like hot Cheetos or fruit roll-ups or something from scratch, and it took off. Why? Because we are desperate as a society for simpler times. However, when TikTok and the algorithm and marketing and businesses get involved, we lose the point, and it just becomes this whole thing about just trying to be her, whether it's her hairstyle or the dress she's wearing or the jewelry she's wearing or the plates. You know what I mean? Like, she's making this pavlova from scratch using a KitchenAid, the state-of-the-art, brand new forest green KitchenAid with the acacia wood bowl attachment. That's like $600, $700. Back in these times, if a woman spent that much money on something to bake with, she'd get slapped across the face. So what are we actually like trying to achieve here? You cannot just cherry pick it. Same thing with the Mormon church. Are we not kind of freaked out with how many Mormons are on TV right now or in media? Like, obviously I watch because it's research. But like the most recent season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, they had a very endearing episode for the gays. And because there was legislation being proposed or being voted on about banning the pride flag in public or in public spaces, businesses can't fly the flag, etc. So all the women got together and they put pride flags in protest in their personal front yards, which is a big step if you're in a very conservative neighborhood, right? Like, neighbors are going to talk. You are going to ruffle some feathers. Like, that is the point. But we don't know how long they kept it up. And they're still, like, I'm just not in favor of setting us back. You have free will to exercise and do whatever you want. But when it starts getting shoved down our faces, this is the only option. This is what success looks like, i.e. Whitney on Dancing with the Stars and now on Broadway in Chicago. We cannot continue to romanticize this pseudo girl boss, fake feminism. Like, it's not clicking to me. I can see right through this bullshit. And then you've got Michaela, who was like the star of the season, coming forward with the sexual abuse that she suffered while in the Mormon church. And yes, we are showering her, giving her her flowers for this bravery and this courage for sharing her story. However, she's still in the church. Like, why can't it be the opposite, right? Like, I understand you're trying to modernize it. Religion is old and antiquated. So you're not going to wear the holy garments, and you're still going to try to find a way to make the religion work for you because it's all you've ever known. But like, if you're going to make this stand, why are you staying with your abuser? It took fans some quick math to realize that her current husband, father of 4 or 5 of her children now, she had her first baby when she was 16. Her husband was 21. So the fact that she's having such issues with intimacy with her husband during that time screams, yeah, your body understands that he's one of those abusers. But he was just doing what he was taught. So remove yourself from the religion. Denounce the religion. Denounce. Did I use that word correctly? Denounce the religion and get the fuck out of there. And if you still want to live a holy life, a connection to God, you want to believe in a God, and you want to still live on the straight and narrow because you believe in getting into a heaven, that is perfectly fine. But you don't have to identify as a Mormon. It's just giving diet cult. You're not being a progressive by just putting a flag in your yard or by just sharing your story. We have to have the follow through. And like, okay, I'm not saying she has to leave her husband, but like, that was never discussed on the show. That, oh, maybe the reason why my body is shutting down when I'm around my husband is because I was a minor when I was impregnated by him when he was 21 years old. That's weird. And the fact that that was normalized and totally okay in their community is weird. But no, that didn't get discussed because we don't want to taint this, we don't want to taint this idea of what the perfect woman is. TV, at the end of the day, is propaganda. And we're not seeing these women in the TLC lens that we used to see Mormons in, which was very like Breaking Amish, sister wives. Like it was a peek into this world that we know nothing about. That's why it was on the Learning Channel, was because it was just kind of a way to expose, or give exposure to, not to like expose, give exposure to different cultures, communities, people. That's why it was the home of the show with the mom with 8 kids, the Octomom, and Little People, Big World. Like, it was definitely like something not mainstream. And then somewhere around the last few years, months, years, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has been on now for 3 seasons. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City have been on for 6, 7 seasons. And now we're starting to see it permeate into the mainstream. You've got Whitney and you've got Jen Affleck on Dancing with the Stars. Taylor Frankie, the kind of ringleader from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. She's the new Bachelorette. It was supposed to be a boy season. It was supposed to be The Bachelor. But that was the big news. It's Taylor Frankie Paul, the Mormon from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And is it not like the same kind of Marilyn Monroe? Like, but ooh, she's the naughty one. She has 2 baby daddies and one has a drug problem. Like, what are we doing? We are fetishizing religion and women and I don't know. The gay dude from Crumble. Remember him? And some influencer allegedly like outed him or is being like, no one outed him. That was the gay, like, but he's also Mormon. And so being gay, being something different from the church does not align with success. And these people, there's nothing wrong with him being gay. The issue is that he couldn't even be his authentic self and launch his cute little faggy cookie brand because he was going against the church. And so he had to like present himself in his Lululemon polo shirt and tight pants, walking around like he's some heterosexual Crumble. The name itself is derived from Grindr, you guys. A gay hookup site. I'm never going to make fun of or punch someone below, or you don't punch down, you punch up. But when you're lying to yourself, to others, when you're perpetuating a toxic cycle, status quo, you need to be called out and not made the Bachelor or, almost win Dancing with the Stars. And I feel so sorry for these people because they actually think they're finally getting their fame that they've craved and wanted, and some maybe deserve. Maybe. But they get to be jerked around by these studios and these executives. They're just trying to get more views and more money out of them. They're not actually trying to make these people's dreams come true. So think, this episode is about media literacy. When these things become mainstream, there's always an alternate agenda going on behind the scenes. Just like my agenda by doing this is to get my ass to the desert. Who wants to send me to Coachella? I can interview people. I can continue to do this. I'll rub sunblock on somebody, whatever you need me to do. We can only be so accepting until it like becomes enabling. Like we actually do have to have some kind of standard to like keep things afloat, in my opinion. And like, it's the same kind of thing. Like, you could be so liberal or so left, you're actually kind of behaving quite racist or whatever. Like, I think of Berkeley, one of the most liberal towns or cities in the world, banning propane gas stoves in homes because, yeah, we're trying to help the ozone, the environment. However, like I can't cook my tortillas on an electric range. You can't cook with a wok on an electric range. Like, you're actually isolating other communities, marginalized communities, in your effort to save the world. Like, I think we're too scared to call out these women because in the name of feminism, we need to be celebrating them. And anyone against that is a misogynist, a piece of shit, and anti-woman. And it's like, no, like, is this really what y'all want? No, you guys just want a more calmer life that isn't so obsessed about the corporate capitalistic grind. That's what they really want you to be doing. And that's why we want to be trad wives. That's why we want a homestead, because we want a slower paced life. We're all exhausted. But you don't have to be Mormon. You don't have to be a trad wife to accomplish these things. So yeah, I don't understand the cherry picking of it all, because yeah, it's just like, how else are we going to be remarketed antiquated thinking, right? Like, I just what's next? Like, bring back slavery in a modern way? No, because that already exists. It's called capitalism, by the way. Okay. People are looking at me. I think that's enough about the Mormons. Oh my God. Okay. Again, why are we... Media literacy. Media literacy. Big media is trying to desensitize us, bring us down, bring us to this kind of just milquetoast, boring, low, middle, I don't know what the word is, just bleh. We don't get mad about anything because then we don't get sad about anything. And speaking of milquetoast, quite literally, the Pantone color of the year. Somebody paid Pantone to say, let's make the color of the year a shade of white. The same year that we had the Sydney Sweeney ad and celebrating her white jeans, or no, I guess they were her blue jeans. But you know, that conversation. We're now naming the color of 2026 white. Cloud Drifter, actually. A soft, airy white with both warm and cool tones. It's like that bitch from Veep. Like, pick a side. Like, have some kind of opinion. It's white, but it's not quite white. It has warm and cool tones, evoking a sense of calm, serenity, and renewed clarity. That sounds like what a cult promises. We're going to numb you and give you this new sense of renewed clarity after you join our cult. Like, this is insane. Serves as a symbol of calming influence in a society rediscovering the value of quiet reflection. It all starts with some yogi, some type of reflection, self-work. That lady that's like anti-masturbation, that's all very like internal. I'm addicted to porn. I'm addicted to masturbating. Like, no, you're not. You're just trying to numb us all and make us all the same so we all assimilate. Like, Cloud Drifter, Cult Drifter. It is cult white. Like, it is disturbing. And media literacy should, if you're literate, I am illiterate in English. I can tell you that. But if you are media literate, you should be kind of just observing. I don't think I'm saying like the end is here. I'm not trying to sound like a doomsday conspiracist, but like those things add up to something. The Sweeney ad, the Mormons, the trad wives, the color white being the color of the year. After the presidency that we're seeing, the ICE raids that we're seeing, the white supremacy rallies that we're seeing. This is all done intentionally. I think what we should do is have a discussion about like the Cold War maybe, or even Vietnam. I think that is kind of similar to what's going on today. I'll research that and get back to you guys because I don't know enough about that stuff. But what I can say is like intention is key. If you like making sourdough from scratch, continue making sourdough from scratch. I'm not here to tell you to stop. But like, and yeah, if you want to slow things down and appreciate quality time with your family and making home-cooked meals, amazing. That's amazing. Do more of that. But don't be doing it because, we're very competitive by nature, humans. Don't be doing this because you want to be the best sourdough maker or you want to get the most followers on TikTok. Also, you can just be another generic skincare pushing, product peddling, brand deal person. Celebrate the art that is slowing down. And keep doing the things that bring you joy. But take a second. Because that's why I watch reality TV. I can explain if you want. I watch all reality TV like it's TLC. Like I'm a fly on the wall and I'm getting to see what's going on at SUR, what's going on behind the gated community in Orange County. I'm Italian and I've never been to the East Coast. So watching Real Housewives of New Jersey feels cool. I feel like I'm getting in touch with my roots. Like there is things to be appreciated from reality television. But when we start giving them, kind of like what I said with sports, I think in the previous episodes, like the amount of power we give these people and money and that kind of stuff, then we start to run into troubled territory. Because at the end of the day, they are just real normal people. They're not characters. They're not actors. These are real people. And then real people, are now then trying to become that version of a real person. Like Teresa Giudice got famous for being Teresa Giudice, right? And then all of a sudden, every bitch on reality TV is flipping a table because they are trying to get they saw what Teresa got and they want their version of that. But they're not putting Jesus Christ. They see the attention Teresa's getting and they want the attention. They're not taking the moment to just stop and think like, oh, that is who she is. And that's what got it for her. Not the actual action of flipping the table, because then that became overdone and quite messy, to be honest. Like, I don't want to watch. That's not why I watch reality TV, is to see who's going to flip a table next. But who is going to get pushed to their limit and we see their true colors. Like, that's kind of why we watch reality TV. We want to see those real reactions and those real struggles. So, yeah, that's why I watch reality TV. And I hate that my views go towards, this big conglomerate, this big studio that's going to keep continuing to take advantage of these folks. But I got to watch and I got to do my research. So that is why I watch reality TV. And, my venture into the public space and wanting to have my own podcast and be posting things on the internet again is not so I can also get on Broadway, or you know what I mean? Because if I wanted to be on Broadway, I'd be going to auditions and I'd be dancing and I'd be going to vocal lessons. I wouldn't be here. Like, that's like, intention is key. Okay? I have talked so much. Next episode is going to be our season finale episode 6. I did 6 episodes in 2 months. That sounds great to me. And then we will regroup in the new year. And hopefully things will look a little bit different. They'll sound a little bit better. And maybe I'll interview some people. But that's all to be discussed next week on the season finale of It's Not Personal, You're Just Doing It Wrong. Thanks for joining today, and I will see you next week.